There you go. Keys off and out. The engine's running. But you see, there's no power steering. There's no like electric is really off, but the actual engine's still running. Alright, I got here a 2017 Toyota Camry that they say the car doesn't shut off with the key, which sounds pretty cool. We just disconnected the battery last night, but they did say it was intermittent, so hopefully it will act up for me. Alright, let's see. Okay, car starts, it's running. Well, it died because the battery was disconnected. Alright, now it's running. Let's see. Alright, so now it's shut off. This is gonna be annoying. I have to get it to act up. They said it was acting up. There was a remote start in here, they pulled it out, and then they give it back to the customer, and then it happened by their house, so it got towed back, and he said last night he couldn't get it to turn off, so he disconnected the battery, but now it's shutting off every time. So I'm going to play around with it until I get it to act up, and then we'll take it from there. Alright, I can't get it to act up right now, but he has a few more cars for me to work on, so I'm going to leave it running, but I do want to just take this cover off so at least I have access. Because I guess what I'm going to do is disconnect the ignition switch and see if it's in the ignition switch or not. So I'm just going to take this cover off for now. I'll leave it running. He said sometimes it was after it was running for a while. Alright, I got to shut it now. Okay. So that's off. This I can put back. Now, just want to see if everything's really taken out. So they did not take out these. They just unplugged it, but the connectors are still in. Where is the actual ignition switch? It's right here. Alright, so it's this right here. Just want to see if anything looks like it's touching it. Let me start it up again. I'm just gonna leave it running. See what else is done down there. Alright, so there was another connector going into the BCM, and it doesn't look like anything now is connected. Alright, so I'm just gonna wait till this thing acts up. Alright, I'm back on this Camry from yesterday that I could not get it to act up, and I got it to act up. So it sat, they kept trying it the whole day, it wasn't acting up, and then they were about to return it to the customer, and it magically started acting up. So let's hope I can get it to act up now. I wasn't gonna video, I was starting to diagnose. I'm like, you know, I got a video, it's very cool. I'm hoping now. Okay, so turn it on. Alright, I'm gonna shut it. Okay, now it shuts. There you go. Keys off and out. The engine's running. But you see, there's no power steering. There's no like electric is really off, but the actual engine's still running. I can rev it. And it's on. Now, what I want to check is, I want to unplug the ignition switch. Now, something has to be, something has to be backfeeding here. So, I'm going to unplug this. And the car's still running, so it's nothing to do with the switch. Now, I'm going to look at a diagram. I just want to see how this thing is set up right here. Alright, so right here, we have the ignition switch. Right? We got two powers coming in. And then when you go in different positions, in the start position it goes in the blue wire, then when it's running and on it goes on this black wire, and then lock position, well, accessory and I guess running, when you're on accessory, it goes on this other wire, this white wire, and there's a pink wire and green wire. So I'm just going to go through using a power probe just because it's quicker and I don't want to lose this. I just want to see if there's any voltage on any of them. So we're going to start with, all right, so obviously we're going to have on the green and yellow wire, we're going to have voltage because that's coming straight from a fuse. All right, on this one I got 12.4. That I know. Okay, now the yellow wire is this one. I should also have power, and I do. Okay, great. Now let's check these outputs. We got a blue, black, and white. So here's the blue. We got absolutely nothing. It's not even showing us a ground or anything. Now the black we have 1.9 volts. So I think this is going to be our back feed coming from this black wire, which I'm going to have to look up where it goes to. But let me just ground it for a second just to see if it shuts the car. And it does. I grounded it and it shut the car because it lost that voltage. So I'm positive that it's not an ignition switch issue, it's a backfeed issue coming on this black wire. Now I'm gonna look at a diagram. I don't want to leave this car running for too long when it's like this, because then it's gonna start overheating because the fans are not turning on. So I'm gonna leave it off for now. Let's just look at this. Let's just look at this diagram. Right here, it goes to R, which is to instrument panel junction box on diagram 3 of 4. So 1, 2, 3. We have to find R. Right here, R. From ignition switch. Okay. It comes up and feeds 3 fuses. It feeds the AB fuse, the ECU ignition 2 fuse, and the ECU ignition 1 fuse. Okay. Let's figure out which fuse. Let me get it to act up again. I gotta plug this back in. Okay, let's plug back in. Let's hope we can get it to act up. Okay, it's running. There we go, it's acting up. Keys out, it's running. Now I'm gonna go down to these 3 fuses and I'm gonna pull them one at a time and just see which one causes it to lose the back feed. All right, here is the fuse box. Okay, we need fuse. Oh yeah, ECU ignition 2-1. It's a 7.5 amp fuse. I'm gonna pull it. Is it still on? No, it's off. Is the car gonna start now, or? Okay, it's not gonna run because it's out. So the voltage must have been on that fuse. All right, let's put that fuse back in. I just want to prove that theory one more time, just to make sure that. I just want to make sure that I could get it not to act up with the other ones. All right, well, it's not acting up this second. Let it run for a minute or two. Let me just look up where that fuse goes to. Pulled the worst one. Okay, I pulled the one that just goes to another thing. To engine junction box assembly, diagram 4 of 4, V. Here, so it comes up here, and it feeds the ignition 2 relay. Do we just have a stuck relay? That's all it feeds. It just feeds a relay. Okay, you know what? Let me also check the other fuses quickly, just to see if I pulled those out, if it goes off. All right, sorry, my battery died, but got a little confused. I pulled out the AB fuse, which also comes from that black wire, and it also stalled. So, I mean, it shut off. So now I'm confused. How could they both? What do I do with the fuse? Can I put it back in? Yeah, I put it back in. So wait, let me get it to act up again. There we go. Okay, now instead of pulling them, I'm just gonna check with this, see if I see those two, that little bit of voltage. Alright, so this is the AB fuse. And there we go. There's 2 volts on it. Now, this is another one of those fuses. There's also 2 volts on it. And there's also 2 volts on it. That means any of these fuses, they're like sharing something. Look at the diagram. Alright, so let's try to make sense out of this. I checked. I pulled out this fuse before and installed. And that's feeding from, sorry, I pulled out ignition 1 fuse and installed. And I know that there's voltage over here, 0.2 volts. I wonder if this is being installed for a different reason. Okay, let's try ECU ignition 2 fuse. And it doesn't make a difference. Okay, great. So here we go. These 2 stall it. So this one we know stalls it. Now, this one, the AB, also stalls it. Okay, great. So let me go see what they feed. Let me just see if I can get it tacked up again. Here we go. It's acting up. Okay, now it's much more consistent. So let's look at the diagram and see what's happening. So we know these 2, this is ECU ignition 2-1. That goes to V. Now what's AB go to? Warning and supplemental restraint system. Oh, but it splits up into 2 wires. It also feeds the supplement restraint system. Okay, so those 2 it's feeding. And that's both on connector A over here. So if I pull connector A, it's for sure gonna go off. Alright, I given up going after that because I hurt myself. So let me go back to V. I want to see right now where this, if this also feeds the ABS module. Because, I mean, sorry, I keep calling it the ABS. If that also feeds the airbag module. Because this seems like it feeds the airbag module. I guess AB means airbag. I didn't even think of that. So I feel like an idiot now. Alright, so ECU ignition 1 fuse. It goes to V. And it feeds a bunch of fuses. It's very possible it feeds it. Or it could be it's fusing because, it could be it's dying because it's pulling off from the engine control system. Alright, I'm going after the airbags.
A few moments later.
I'm going to unplug the ABS module. So there's a few plugs on it. Oh no, I'm wrong. There's only 1 plug on it. And it's still running. Okay, so it's not a bad ABS module. May as well turn this back on because there's AC when I do that. Oh boy, this is harder than I expected. Okay, so this feeds supplement restraint system. Let's go to that diagram. Alright, so here's the restraint system. Let's find those fuses. So we got the AB fuse right here. So this is the 2 wires. So 1 feeds that module. And the green wire feeds the occupant detection ECU. Alright, let's unplug that, but let's first go here. There we go. Wait, what is happening? Yeah, okay, we're still on. Engine's running with the key out. Here's the key. Let's go down to the occupant detection module. Now this could make more sense if it's true because these things get wet. It actually looks kind of rusty, but this is the occupant detection module. There's 2 plugs on it. Let's see, one of them should have a green wire. This one's the power feed. I unplugged it. Alright, I think I still hear the car running. Yep, it's still running. So it's not that module. And it's not the airbag module. I don't know, looking at this, I just can't figure out how it's possible that this fuse and this fuse both cause it to shut off. Meaning, if this fuse is out, that means it has to be coming from somewhere down here. And if this fuse is out, unless that's making it shut off for a different reason. Is this getting rid of the 2? That's what I have to find, but I can't get it to act up now. There we go, it acted up. Okay, good. Alright, so now it's acting up. Let me just verify. I'm gonna pull the AB fuse. Actually, should I? Or should I test first? Where's my probe? Let me pull this out. Let's see, the black wire. Is at 1.7 volts. Now, if I pull, all right, that escalated fast. I got rid of the airbag. It's over there. It's very sharp, and I keep cutting myself. See, we got 1.8 volts. I want to take off this one, because this one is what feeds everything. Okay, that's out. Now, do we have voltage here anymore? No, we do not. Okay. So this is connector A. It gotta be. 1.7. Let's unplug the fuse. All right, not the AB fuse, the one on top of it. Okay. And then we got 2.7 volts. So I really think this is just a red herring. I think it's really the other fuse, the airbag fuse. That is the 10 amp. Okay. And now let's check right here. We have 0. So it's not that fuse. That's just shutting something else off. That's why it's shutting off. Okay. All that. It's just the airbag fuse. Now we got to figure out where in the world this airbag fuse is backfeeding voltage. Now I already unplugged the airbag module. All right, somehow on that airbag fuse, it's feeding something that's giving us voltage. It got to be mixed in somewhere, but at least now I'm conclusive it's on the airbag fuse.
Many minutes later.
I'm giving one last shot at this. We got here connector 3A. I found pin 46. That's the one that the airbags is going on. It is this black wire right here. I want to know if it's on this wire or if it's something in this module. Now, I'm a little confused about if it's supposed to have voltage on it, but when I ground it, it always shuts off. So now I know there's no voltage because, which makes sense. All right, now I know there's no voltage because this could power up a bunch of things. So if I go on the black wire, I got nothing. If I plug this in, I think it goes up to like 2 volts. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna cut this wire right here. I know I don't like cutting wires, but it's a last resort. I'm gonna try to leave as much space that I can easily repair it. All right. Place your bets now, as Ivan would say. Do you think it's gonna work or not? I don't think it's gonna. I think we're still gonna have voltage. Snip. Okay. And we still have voltage. Okay, so what do we know? I cut this wire. Let me just make sure it was the right one. I cut the wire going from after this fuse. Now, really, I should cut the A15 one also, because then I'm locking it into this box. But the problem has to be in this box. All right, so I'm going to cut one more wire. It's the 15, which is this guy right here, and then I fully cut the output. All right, so it's this wire right here. We're going to go snip. Okay. Now, does this still have voltage on it? Here goes. And we got no voltage. So it's on, I was on the wrong wire. It's not on the black wire. It's on the green wire. Something to do with the back, the occupant detection. It's on the green wire. It's not the module. we gotta go look at the seat again. What do we got here? So there's the occupant detection module, but here is the connector before it. So when I unplug that, let's just unplug this one because maybe there's water in one of these. Okay, I'm gonna try to unplug this right now. And it's corrosion. That is the money shot right here. This car is staying on because of a corroded connector. That is crazy. All right, I was here for short over 2 hours. It's late at night. I gotta put together those wires. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna leave this connector unplugged. I was so close before with the occupant detection module. Okay, I'm gonna put this one together because that has nothing to do with anything. I'll just show you here. So I fixed that wire so far. If I touch this one, this is the wire. It's unplugged, but there's still voltage on it leaking through that other from the connector. So I'm gonna have to clean that connector out really well. But for now, you know what I couldn't believe? There was no codes for the airbag. All right, I got the whole car put back together besides this connector. And now we gotta figure out how to clean this out. Let me get the camera down over here. If you look here, this is pretty bad. I'm gonna pop the cover off. Maybe this doesn't come out that way. Yeah, it doesn't come out that way. All right, so I'm just gonna spray it up with some DeoxIT. And then we'll give it a blow. I just want to check now if it's disconnected, if it's not connecting to the power anymore. I'm just gonna check at the switch if we have a ground. All right, let's see. We have 0 volts, but it's not lighting up. I gotta clean the other side also. I cleaned the other side, I plugged it in. It's not the greatest. I just want to see if we're at 0. If we're not, tomorrow I'm just gonna tell them to pull the seat out and probably just bypass that connector. No, we're at 0, so they'll probably bypass it anyway. But let's see. I can. But it's definitely not gonna act up now. Watch it act up. The airbag light's off now. Brake light's on because I have an emergency brake on. I can't say it's a perfect fix. Really, they have to bypass the connector. It's very late at night. I gotta go home. I only came back, it was like late already because it acted up, and I was here twice before and it wouldn't act up. But this job took way longer than I expected. Yeah, I got off track at one point, and if I would have focused on the occupant detection, I would have found it much faster. I don't know what made me veer off track on that. I don't know what made me decide that it's the airbag instead of the occupant detection. But all right, it's fixed. Thanks for watching.